In this battle, Obelix is commanding the Sassanids, and I am commanding the Eastern Romans, with an army I think at least has a chance of defeating the Sassanid cavalry and skirmishers. I have 10 infantry units with precursors. So 4 Legio Comitatenses, 4 Legio, 2 Protectores, I have 2 Equites, 4 Cataphractii, Magister Militum triple bronze, 2 Herculeani Seniores, no skirmishers. Obelix has 4 elite Daylamites in his center. He has a Persian brigade on each flank. Then he has Pushtigban and Gripenvar. So 4 Gripenvar, 2 Pushtigban. He has his Savaran Sardar. Then he has 1 Shayadan Immortal. And of course 4 Armenian Slingers. And you can see by the way he's deployed here, he's sort of prepared for my mad dash through the center. Then able to use his wider formation to envelop me. So let's see if he makes that happen. And I have slightly more men on the field than him. I don't have any skirmishers. My cavalry is fairly weak, and I'm going to have to rely on the precursors of my infantry to deal damage to his shock cavalry, because ideally I'm going to eat charges with Protectores. I'm going to push back the Armenians with my infantry, and then I'm going to get his cavalry into position so I can start precursoring them to death. So at least there will be some units able to fire precursors at all times. Also, I want to keep my cavalry away from his Shayadans and his Armenians, so I'm going to stay fairly far back here with my cavalry, throwing some darts here at the Shayadans, taking down a few of them. I forget about my general here. He wasn't meant to be this far ahead. He was meant to be behind here, so a bit of mismicro there from me. I don't play Attila much these days, just a few friendly games here and there. Maybe 1 or 2 friendly games a week. So I am a bit worried that my micro isn't going to be on point enough to be able to do what I want to do with precursors here. And you can see already I'm a bit out of position. My Protectores are too far ahead because they are running while these units are walking, but I do kind of want to push back his Armenians a bit to keep them out of range of my cavalry. That's the main thing. But you can also see that it makes my Legio very exposed. So stopping the Protectores here and hoping that I'll be able to precursor his Savarans to death. The Savarans are going to destroy the Protectores on the charge. But let's see if I'm able to precursor effectively enough here. Nope, I blocked too many of my own precursors. Over here I'm able to get in some precursors, but then just the Legio gets smashed from multiple angles. The good thing is that my cavalry is still not taking fire from any Armenians. So over here I'm precursoring, and this is what I was thinking about, just throwing multiple lines of precursors in, and this Savaran Cataphract already at half strength. This Savaran Cataphract lost men, this Gripenvar lost men. So this is what I want to keep doing. The Shayadan Immortals have already taken a lot of casualties. And unfortunately I forget about this unit of Legio for some reason. Very important unit, and forgetting that unit, massive micro mistake. So here the Gripenvar will destroy Cataphractii. I don't know why I don't support here earlier. A bit too late with the support. I'm going to send my Cataphractii and my Promoti in here. Using 2 units against 1, not the best idea, to be honest.
The men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing.
But the Savaran Cataphracts here are taking a lot of casualties. Even here, the Savaran Cataphracts are getting dealt with. I lost my Cataphractii, sending in the Protectores here to take care of the Gripenvar. And I want to take care of the Pushtigban as well, so I'm sending in my Herculeani Seniores. They have nice armor penetration. On this side, I make a mistake by allowing my units to get shot by these Armenian slingers. The Gripenvar take care of the Legio, and this is where my unit should have been, to throw javelins at this unit of Gripenvar Cataphracts. So I kind of want to finish off these units. I'm sending in my Magister Militum here, using his brace to make him better against the Gripenvar. You can see the Pushtigbans, just how crazily durable they are. Firing into this blob, Obelix is causing friendly fire casualties, but this single unit is holding down 3 of my units, and my Cataphractii unit is already... So I really should have pulled the Equites Promoti around here instead of sending it straight in. So that's a pretty huge micro mistake on my part. Here we have another blob developing. Sending in my Cataphractori to stop his Pushdigban since my infantry support is fairly close. I made a mistake here in sending my Legio in against elite Elamites and shield wall. Horrible decision there. But I was able to win here, and I'm able to take care of this Gripen War as well. So things are not looking that bad for me yet. Moving my Equites Promoti out of range of his Sheoldred Immortals. But the Pushdigbans with their 60 armor and the Gripen War with their 50 armor, it's going to take a long time to grind them down, even when I have this infantry support here. And my Legio Comitatenses get charged. I'm able to defeat the Gripen War over here. I'm able to get into the Armenian Slingers here, but they just did so much damage to my Promoti and my Cataphractori on the charge. So very bad trade there for me. And he is rear charging here with Sheoldred Immortals. I'm going to send in my Equites Promoti here, and this is a good charge for me, getting the Sheoldred Immortals into this blob. The Gripen War pull out, and that means they will take casualties. Same thing over here, the Sheoldred Immortals attacking the rear are not going to do too well at all. I still forget about my infantry over here, which is very bad. That infantry unit and those precursors, immensely important. When playing as the Eastern Romans against the Sassanids, you have to have everything working optimally, and I haven't been able to do that. The elite Elamites get rear charged by my Spabed. Gripen War Cataphracts routing. I managed to kill the Sheoldreds without them doing much in this battle. But this is part of the problem with facing the Sassanids as the Western Romans. Their cavalry, just this Pushdigban, has taken on all of these units for a long time. And when I pull out the Cataphractori, they're going to take casualties. Still, I get the charge against the Savaran Sardar. The Savaran Sardar is a very sturdy unit, and when activating Brace, he's just going to chew through these Cataphractori, no problem. Trying to use my Equites Promoti to finish off these Pushdigban. My Majesty Militum has taken a bit of fire here from Armenians. I'm sending in all of these Legio Comitatenses against the elite Elamites. The Herculeani are defeating the Armenian Slingers. So at this point, things aren't looking horrible for me here. But you can see how little of an impression I'm able to make on the Sassanid cavalry. But part of the idea here was to create situations like this, where you have so many men blobbed up that it's difficult for these Pushdigbans to get their good charges. So here, the Pushdigbans are getting ground down, finally trying to pull out. But the Savaran Sardar is a tank of a unit. He's very beastly, so it's going to be difficult for me to deal with that. And my Majesty Militum, he took early damage from the Armenians, which was not good. The Herculeani got a lot of kills, but these Protectores just cannot stand up to elite Elamites. So trying to blob up, but these elite Elamites, they're not likely to break. They're going to trade very well with my Roman infantry. I forget about this unit, very bad, because now the Armenians can just snipe it down. This unit is too late in support. And there my general died, because he charged into a unit of elite Elamites. So at this point, things look bad for me, because at this point, I've lost my general. My units are going to be breaking earlier. I'm sending in my Cataphractori here to do some damage against the elite Elamites, but they're going to hit a lot of my own men. The Herculeani Seniores would normally do well against elite Elamites, but since they have been taking fire and since my general is dead, that is not optimal. I'm going to try a charge with my Legio Comitatenses here against the Elamites. Send my Equites Promoti around, and I cannot overstate how important it would have been to have this unit available for doing stuff. Now my Herculeani Seniores are fighting his Savaran Sardar, but the Savaran Sardar, with support of elite Elamites, is going to be able to cycle charge here and kill me, basically. So the Equites Promoti is starting to get hit by Armenian Slingers. This Legio Comitatenses break at 93 men because of the death of the general. Very bad. Very bad that I get my Equites Promoti into range of the Armenian Slingers as well. So the mistakes are starting to add up, and these are mistakes that I cannot afford to make at this point. Savaran Sardar keeps killing my Herculeani Senores. I will be able to deal with the elite Elamites here, but the problem is that my Equites Promoti, they've taken too much damage. Having them run all the time has meant that they are very close to exhaustion, and I'm not close enough to these Armenians to be able to get in. So at this point things look very bleak for me. The enemy general is still alive. I still have a unit of elite Elamites to worry about, and I've only now noticed this unit of Legio over here. But it's at 16 morale because of the death of the general, and a very unimpressive charge by exhausted Equites Promoti here into the Armenian slingers. I had to stop them some way, but this was not going to work too well with them being exhausted. So now Obelix is going to be able to start surrounding me here, and even sending in Herculeani Senores against the Armenian slingers. They are so depleted, they're going to have problems. The Equites Promoti get focus fired on by Armenian slingers, so they're not able to get at the Savaran Sardar. And now my Legio is all alone on the battlefield. But even though I made significant mistakes in this battle, I think this could have been possible had I played better, and that is of course something you can say about all battles. There were some major mistakes in how I chose to engage my cavalry, 2 against 1 mainly being the problem, and forgetting about that infantry unit. But I still think I'll also charge some Daylamites here in shield wall, so you can see they got a lot of kills. The Armenians do well, the Sassanid cavalry does well, but part of the problem is I just cannot kill the Sassanid cavalry fast enough with my infantry and cavalry support. And my cavalry gets killed very, very easily by Armenian slingers. So my general did a good job, but I did leave him exposed at important times. The Herculeani Senores do a good job, but I think spamming infantry with precursors, that's very important. I think that's one of the ways the Western Romans can at least try to contend with the Sassanid Empire. It's not going to be easy, but after the Tagmata got nerfed, shock cavalry got buffed, there really isn't much the Western Roman Empire can do against a good Sassanid player, in my opinion. If you have any builds or things you've tried against these types of Sassanid armies that have worked well, I'd be more than happy to hear about them. I think I'm getting close to something, but it's still very difficult. But as you can see here, remaining men fairly close. Losing the general at that point and leaving him exposed was super, super dangerous. And that is one of the problems with this build. There is no sniping power to take out the enemy general like Obelix had. He had sniping power to take out my general. One of the strengths of the army is that it's able to push back Armenian slingers effectively. It's also able to put down a lot of precursor fire. But I am starting to wonder whether some of these protectores should be taken out, and I should have had my funditores instead. In loose formation, use that to block charges and to not fire at the Armenian slingers, but use them to push back and try to get some shots in on the cataphracts of the Sassanids, slow them down a bit, give me more time to micro, and give me more time to fire precursors at them. So that's going to be the next thing I try, probably. Strength and honor.